Lamium amplexicaule. Nickname for this plant is skinned rabbit. This is part 1, and in part 2 I'll be sharing a mnemonic or memory technique to help you commit to memory the most distinguishing characteristics of this plant for identifying purposes. Be sure to watch all of part 1 so that part 2 is understandable. This is a weedy plant from 6 to 18 inches tall at maturity. The stems grow along the ground and extend indefinitely in all directions. Where the stems do ascend above the ground, that part is quite erect. All parts of the stem are square. The stem is hollow inside. Notice the lower leaves bear leaf stalks. The upper leaves do not. Both types of leaves are opposite of one another along the stem. They do not alternate along the stem. The upper leaves, being opposite of one another, naturally form what in the mnemonic is referred to as a platform for our rabbits. As you can see, this is where the plant derives its nickname from, because by profile, each flower does closely resemble a rabbit. Notice undeveloped flowers here, which this plant also produces. Undeveloped flowers are round. Only the upper leaves are associated with flowers. The lower leaves with stems are not. Flower colors are pink to purplish. Pink obviously representing the skin of a skinned rabbit, and purple explained in the mnemonic text coming up in part 2. Flowers can also appear to be white, which is usually already associated with rabbits. The flowers grow from an area where the leaf meets the stem. The flowers are tubular. They're about 2 centimeters long. And the base of each flower is surrounded by a bract, B-R-A-C-T. We'll get a much closer picture of bracts on a later slide. Square stem, short, fibrous taproot, multiple stems develop from a single taproot. Leaves are heart-shaped. to oval or egg shaped. This figure on the right represents a seed that develops after the plant flowers. This seed is developed or described as being a nutlet. They form in clusters of 4. They have 3 sides and are squared off at the tip. Now, because of these seeds, chickens have been attracted to this weed, and it is where this plant's common name is derived from, or one of its common names is derived from being henbit. This is a close-up picture of the bracts I was telling you about, which surround the base of each flower. They are leafy and bear 5 to 7 narrow lobes with pointed tips. They're often purple, and usually they are more wide than they are long. Developing from where the leaf meets the stem. Upper leaves have no leaf stalks, but clasp or grasp the stem. Stems again square. And multiple stems developing from a single short fibrous taproot. The flowers are described as having an upper lip or lobe that is arched like a hood or helmet, and a lower lip or lobe which is sac or pouch shaped. At the apex of the lower lobe or lip are 2 appendages or growths which are spotted and bears one of the rabbit features, which are rabbit ears. Flowers that are more on the purple side of the color spectrum. Multiple stems deriving from a single root. Flower clusters, profiles resembling rabbits. Flowers are tubular. They are pubescent or hairy on the outside, but on the inside they are hairless. The hood or helmet description for the upper lip or lobe consistently has a much more dense patch of hair, purple hair that is, on the top, which by profile represent the rabbit's ears. Notice the spotting on the inside of the lower lip and its appendages. The leaves have reddish edges. The top surface of the leaves are also pubescent or hairy. There are hairs along the lower surface of each leaf as well, but only along the veins of the lower surface of each leaf, whereas again on the top side is covered in hair. These not being a profile, but still closely resembles features of a rabbit. Skinned rabbit. Notice again the undeveloped flower, which can happen quite often. And this also plays a part in the mnemonic. Two centimeters in length approximately. This is a picture of the rare white flowers. Easy to remember because white, again, is a color that's usually associated with rabbits anyway. When in the field, just be sure to look at its profile. If it resembles a rabbit, it is. This plant, as you were able to see early on in this presentation, has no poisonous lookalikes. So another illustration of the bracts. They surround the base of each of the tubular flowers. They are very hairy. Short fibrous taproot, multiple stems, growing from a single root. This is a picture which shows us from where the bracts grow or develop, from where the leaf meets the stem. Leaves are heart-shaped. They can be egg or oval-shaped as well. Bracts are hairy. We can see the hairs or pubescence on the top surface of this leaf as well. Undeveloped flowers. edges of all the leaves are rounded. They have rounded teeth. A picture of more of the hairy bracts, rounded or scalloped teeth around the edges of the leaf. Not only the edges are rounded, but the patterns on the top surface of the leaf are rounded or somewhat oval shaped as well. That plays a role in the mnemonic coming up in part 2. After the flowers develop, these seeds or fruit come into play. These are the seeds I was explaining earlier. Hens or chickens eat those up. Again, notice the rounded edges and the oval or egg-shaped patterns on the top surface of the leaves. This would represent a lower leaf because it does have a stalk. It is one that is more heart-shaped, not so much of an oval shape, but still bears the oval-ish patterns on the surface and rounded or scalloped edges. Would still be hairy or pubescent on the top surface and would bear hairs only along the veins of the lower surface. The upper leaf is represented on the left. It would grasp or clasp the stem, and a lower leaf on the right. Notice the red edges. More red edges, undeveloped flowers. Now this entire plant is edible. The younger leaves are excellent as part of a salad or as a pot herb. For more information about this plant, such as miscellaneous details and time of year and areas of location or environment, visit survivalplantsmemorycourse.com, and there at the Index of Plants page, click on Lamium and amplexicaule to learn more. I should mention, during this part, the whole plant is edible, raw or cooked. This has been part 1, and in part 2, I will be sharing the mnemonic or memory technique to help you commit to memory the most distinguishing characteristics of this plant for identifying purposes. Thank you for watching.